Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I'm Deplorable Knitter, and this is the lovely Ann Pinkova, and my stupid shit-eating grin was because I love our theme song, and I'm happy that it plays before we go live now, so
Very
just so you
excited.
know, I'm not that weird.
Politically Incorrect Knitters theme song is written and performed by Joel Montgomery.
Yes, thanks Joel. Did he ever get his hat?
Yeah, I got him a hat.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I was just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Joel is
So,
very bribable. I'm not sure if he is now. Now he probably wants the cash. But at the time, he was a college kid, man. He's like, sure, I'll write you something.
yeah. Yeah, no, he was just happy to do it, which is cool because we love it, and I love that song. Every time I edit a podcast and I put it on, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
so dumb. It's cute. So, anyway, random story about that. So, we're sponsored by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts because she's really cool and we like her. So, that's good.
We are. Um, oh,
I was just
uh,
telling Anne, I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day.
hey, it has been. The code for 20% off your order is Meadowlark 20 PIK for the month of October. You can get beautiful yarns such as these. We have right here. We have Jake and Elwood, favorite of mine, also happen to be sitting here. This is there room on that broom, which is the October giveaway. So comment below once the video is finished for a chance to enter that. It is so cool. Perfect
Oh,
for the month. And also, here is tweet us on Facebook, which is a beautiful green, but also a previous giveaway. It's Petite Me 1540. If you could go ahead and contact us to get that to you, or just get the yarn, or for everyone else, get the yarn color at chickenladyfiberarts.com. And she has some. Have you checked out her Gilmore Girls colorway yet?
she does. I was looking at, I love that they say coffee, 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 but it's a lot of brown, and I'm not a big brown person. I know you're a brown person, so, although
I
I
am
feel
a
like my
brown
husband's
person.
something with it. But
No,
I
but
really
it's
like
kind of
the
brown
Stars
into
Hollow.
orange, and yeah, it's
Right,
very
right, but you're also orange and I'm less
yes,
orange. That
yes.
that is part of the deal.
Orange and brown is actually most of the sweaters I knit for myself. That is
Right.
like my jam.
Um but no, the Stars Hollow colorway, it's like gray, but then there's like tones of purple in there and stuff. And I had it in my cart and then I took it out of my cart because the rational side of me said, "You have so much yarn. Do you need more yarn?" But then my heart was saying, "But I like yarn and it Stars Hollow and I like Gilmore Girls, so I don't know. We'll see what happens." Mrs. Emmy says, "Brown makes me look dead." I wouldn't go that far. It's just not me per se.
No.
But Chicken Lady has fabulous colors, and we love her. And check her out with the code Meadowlark 20 PIK.
Mm-hmm.
So
Her bird
cool,
colorways are
cool.
awesome. Her state park colorways, all bangers.
hmm I'm assuming there's a Meadowlark colorway, which I haven't looked at yet.
I
The month
don't
did just start. Is it
believe
not
that
come out yet?
right.
Okay.
I don't know. And sign up for her newsletter too, because she'll
hmm
tell you and do free
She
shipping
does cool
days.
stuff. Free shipping Monday was last week, so you guys missed out. But if you sign up, you won't miss the next time.
There you
There's that. Um, so what you been doing?
go. Well, I've still been recovering from the half blanket handicap, actually.
I know, right?
If you guys didn't check out or didn't see the video, go ahead and watch it because it was a lot of fun.
It
Um,
was. It's long. Like it's 4 hours long. Don't get me wrong. You can watch it in chunks though, and it's fun because Epic Mike asked some good questions that I don't think we've talked about before. Because
yeah,
him, as someone who doesn't net, he wanted to know things that were, different, and so that was fun.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so
No,
check it out. It was a lot of fun. We raised a lot of money for the babies.
we
For the
did.
babies.
We did.
Um, hey, I'm
And
almost done with my blanket. That's been my project
ooh,
lately. Look at, it's this big though. It's I'm on the decreases. I'm getting close.
That's awesome.
I've never knitted a blanket before.
Really? Yeah, I
Really?
love blankets though. So
I crochet them.
right. See,
So it's a new thing.
I have a problem. Oh, before I show mine.
Oh.
So again, thank you everyone who participated, not just our panelists, which were awesome, but also everyone who donated and gave stuff to the babies, and also for the giveaway specifically. If you want to enter that with the baby stuff, the link is in my Instagram profile for going into the Google form and getting that all in there. And we'll probably be able to drop a link below as well. But yes, to get that properly submitted to Amy and to get your name chosen for the giveaway.
Mm. And if you drop it in the chat here, I can put it up.
Okay,
So,
sure.
And I don't have that link on my link tree, but I'll put it up when we're done, and then
Okay.
it'll be a thing. So that'll be good.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and everybody who participated, and we had a great panel. We had great guest hosts, and we had a great audience. We had a ton of people watching us live, which was super fun because it was long, and you guys were in for the long haul, and that was pretty cool.
And there was a couple
Yeah.
people who played along making the blankets at home, which was fun.
Yeah. And some people chose not to make blankets, but they were making hats and other baby things, which was awesome too. So
That was nice.
all in all, it was a huge success. We raised lots of money for the babies last month, and it's because you guys helped us. So thanks. It's excellent. So
Yep. Yay. Good party, guys.
it was a good party. And
Right.
one of your weird ideas was good. Thank you. I mean, most of your weird ideas are good, but yeah.
Oh, I try. Well, okay. I have a lot of ideas that aren't good. And luckily you're very forbearing and saying, no, we're not doing
Yeah.
that.
Sometimes she comes to me with an idea, and I'll be like, okay, not bad, but like, let's take it down about 6 notches and like make it way less
Yeah,
complicated.
it's here and it needs to be here.
Yeah, people don't want to do the 7 steps to jump through the hoop thing. It's, so yeah. But it was a good time. Good time was had by all.
Yay.
So
But yeah, hang on. Here's my blanket.
is your blanket all done?
It's not all done. Here's
I like it. Is there
I
did you run out of yarn again?
No, I have
Oh,
yarns.
okay.
But yeah, it's more orange. It's amazing. But no, every time I'm like, okay, I should finish this, get home from work. I'm like, yeah, I'll do a bit of knitting. I'll finish this blanket. And it's like physically painful to me. Like I will do a couple rows and my fingers would be like, that's not a good idea.
I'm the only one that worked on these blankets that was not complaining about it. I think it's because I tend to knit with a lot thicker yarn than you guys.
Mhm.
And so the thick yarn and needles didn't bother me the same way it bothered a lot of you, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah, I really struggled with that. But yeah, that's my problem. If I start with that blanket in an evening, like my hands will cramp up and I won't knit at all afterwards. But this one, it's another corner to corner on the same concept, but with like normal worsted weight yarn. And if I'm working on this one, that's okay.
That's funny.
But yeah, I got a lot of stuff I need to work on, but also want to finish up my baby stuff for the babies.
Yeah, I'm finishing this up, and then I really have to buckle down on my political knitting, and my entry for the next Co-Crafting Democracy. I finally got it charted. I'm really excited. I've got to kind of tweak it and whatnot. Anne's going to see it before the rest of you guys. Sorry. That's what happens when you're married. It just, she gets privilege.
I do like privileges.
But yeah, this is unfortunately, as much as I've enjoyed making things for the babies this month, I've got to switch gears because the election is coming fast.
It is.
So
yeah, I have a fat stack of needs to be done in the month of October too. So let's see if that happens.
Oh, I'm supposed to make a Christmas stocking for someone.
So am I.
I don't want to.
Actually, we have a very similar to-do list. I would suggest a
Uh,
challenge, but absolutely not. Both of us need to do a Christmas stocking. Both of us need to do something for Neil. Crafting democracy. And I have a gift for someone else that needs to be done. Do you have one of those too?
I mean, yeah, actually, I have two baby showers in November. One's the first weekend in
See?
November, and one's the last weekend in November. So at least I have a little bit of time on that one.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. So what we need to do, not you guys, sorry, but Anna and I need to have a date where we make a plan. Because holy moly, I need someone to hold me accountable.
Okay.
Because I suck. I've got a
We
lot of
need to
stuff to
like put money
make.
on this or something. I
Hmm?
don't want to do that, but also,
You don't want to do what?
no, do we need to like put money on this between us or something?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about it. So, yeah, we do have very similar to-do lists. Part of it is because Anne has made me knit some things. You know that compelled speech we talk about? I have some compelled knitting forced by Anne, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay. I compelled myself in this one at least.
Fine, fine. I see how it is. Okay. Sonny, competition helps. She thinks we should bet. I don't know. I don't know if we should bet. We'll see.
We'd have to do something pretty good to bet though. I mean, like $20 is $20, but if we had like a thing
I don't know. What if we make it into a public competition on our YouTube channel?
that we have together and are talking about.
Okay, well, we'll talk about this at a later date.
Oh, also, so talking about baby things and not public competitions. So, I got a box this week from the lovely Polka Dot, and I wanted to show it off
yes, you need to.
because they're adorable. She'd made these
Yes.
little plushy bats, and they're holding hands, but they have little snaps in their wings. So, I mean, they can give you a little hug. You can hang them off things. Or like, the toys that hang off, the car seat handles, and you have like little like things hanging off it. You could hang one of these guys off it.
Yeah.
Really cute.
Slightly off subject, and those are super cute. But I don't know if you remember when you came and visited us 2 years ago. You brought
Yeah.
my kids some like Halloween themed stuffed animals, and I just found them all hanging in my kid number two's bed because they're on the bottom bunk and they had little clips on them and they hang over them while they're sleeping. And I
Well,
thought it
that's
was super
really
cute.
cute.
So I want to tell you that. And you was talking about it hanging off of something that made me remember.
Mhm.
So
Well, that's adorable. But anyways, so yes.
yes, so Polka Dot has really cool stuff. Moral of the story: go check her out
Moral of the
because
story. No, but
Anne
one
is buying all her stuff, and if you want it, you better beat her.
well, one of these I'm giving to my nephew, but the other one is for another baby shower gift kind of a thing.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, thought I'd show it off because they're really
Mhm.
cute.
They're really cute. I like them a lot.
Mhm.
Good job, Polka Dot.
But anyways, anything else you're working on?
No, no. I mentioned it when we were talking earlier, but my family got some sort of bug this week, and we were all down and out. And it wasn't like fevers and stuff, it was like stuffy noses and super exhausted. Super, super exhausted. Everybody slept like tons this week. So all I've managed to do is work on this blanket, which I had probably better wash before I send it off to the babies so they don't get whatever weird sickness we
Right.
had. Oh, in the comments, somebody is saying that there's only one bat left. So if you guys want it, you better run to Polka Dot Shop and pick it up. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Unless she meant only one left, as in, more things to make for baby showers, which is also true.
Could be too. So yeah. And now that I've done these stupid corner to corner blankets that you made me do, I might do them for the showers because I
Hey,
do like how quick they knit up. And I like this Michaels yarn, this loops and thread, which, it's just a straight up acrylic that you get at Michaels. But They have some fun colors, like one shower's for a boy and one's for a girl. So, I might make another similar with like the aqua and the less aqua. And and then they have some like really fun girl colors too. So I might just do that. We'll have to see. And then like a little matching hat and sweater would be super cute and fun. And
I didn't bring it over, but I made a little hat out of this yarn to match
yeah,
too. Because Amy said that that would be super nice if it was a matching blanket and hat. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure they'll sort it out at the thing, but
yep. I'm gonna have enough. I might have to break into my last skein to finish this blanket because I think I might just be a few rows short, but there'll be enough to make a newborn hat to go with it. So it'll be fun. And
so
so I said I'll be done with the blankets done, but really I'll be done when the hat's done. But it's close. So made a baby blanket crocheted. We'll get a pile made before I mail them. Awesome. Thanks,
nice.
everybody. Was that 5? Yeah, it's a bulky 5. And I'm knitting with, 13 needles. So, Yep. It's nice. I don't dislike Anne too much for making me make a blanket. It's fine.
Sorry.
I just like to bug her about it. So, it's been a busy week. And there's been a lot going on.
Been a massively busy week.
And I want to say on Saturday, I did not realize how much the hurricane had affected people. I hadn't been watching the news, and I feel kind of bad that like I didn't acknowledge that it was so terrible, because it is terrible, and our government is being a pile of turds. Because there are people that have nothing, and they're denying them even the $750, because I was just reading something that if they have homeowners insurance, they're just straight up denying the people.
Yeah.
So
there's well, first off, the gal who does our logos, she was in that area, and like she personally is okay, but people she knows and are related to have been flooded out. Not one of those towns, luckily, where that have been wiped away with like mudslides and stuff like that. But yeah, it's crazy. And there's an account on Twitter. Anna Hitrova is her name. She lives in East Asheville. She's a native there, and she's been able to talk about what's happening. And she was saying today, so FEMA has been awful. It's been worse than useless. It has not like gone in to help people, and when other people are going in to help people, they're stopping them. And this gal was saying, she's like, well, this is great. She's like, let's do a thought experiment. If I believed in FEMA, if I was like, yeah, they're gonna help, and it's like, and you go to Google and you're like, yeah, I need some assistance and I still have cell phone coverage somehow. Okay, so I am going to look for resources online and see if they are near me. She's like, you can't find anything. You can't find anything at all. If you're going to Twitter and you're like, no, surely they must be near me and they can help. Nothing. Not at all.
Yeah. My tech editor is near Augusta, Georgia, and she's been without power for all of the days. She said it's been in the 90s. It's been, they can't get gas to run their generators because there's no electricity, so the gas stations can't run. Like it's a cycle. There's no ice. Because nobody has any power. But she sent me the FEMA.gov has a rumors page about hurricane relief.
And when you're
all the
talking
stuff
about FEMA, they can handle that one.
Yeah, it's just horrible. It's like all the stuff people are saying, today I was listening to Bongino, and he was talking about how they're not letting people fly drones over the area because they don't want the pictures getting out. And he played a clip of Buttigieg being like, oh no, we have to keep the airspace open and stuff. Why? Nobody's coming. What has Kamala done? What has Biden done? Biden was out on the beach while these people are suffering and dying and bodies are floating by, but, whatever. We got Trump and Elon Musk doing more for them than our actual government.
Yeah. Yeah, there
And
was a exchange on Twitter today with Elon Musk and I believe it was Pete Buttigieg. And yeah, lovely guy. And he's like, no, 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 FEMA's not stopping people. You can do that. He's like, look, we're trying to bring people into the area. Give me a number to call. Later, he's
Mhm.
like, Elon Musk is like, still, I'm waiting for a number to call to get people in to
Mhm.
help. Like, this is urgent, and I'm waiting here for an answer.
Mhm. Yeah, but Elon was doing more to get people connected with each other, and I heard that they were saying things like, don't just go cruising on the internet, but use it as a resource to like let people know you're okay and stuff. But he's doing that. Trump was giving his own money, and then we've got the government who, if they have allegedly, if they have homeowners insurance, they're just straight up denying them. And why does FEMA only have $750 a person?
Uh,
Why? Is it because they gave $9,000 to every illegal that came in and now they don't have any more money left? Because they've spent
which
like
is
$640 million this year on what? What disaster have they or things have they had to do that was $640 million? Nothing. Thank you. Thank you for coming to
is
my talk.
no, definitely. But it's wild because it has there been any other aid that we've given that anyone has seriously said, actually, we don't have any more money, so we can't give it to you? Has that happened
Yeah.
at all? Ukraine in particular?
No, no, but I want to know why my tax dollars are going overseas when there are people here in the US that need them.
Mhm.
I don't begrudge my tax money going to people in North Carolina and Georgia and Tennessee who have been devastated. I have no issue with that because this is our country. But also, um, why is it going to Ukraine or any other place that's not the US? Just
Mhm.
excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and as Amy of Two Sisters and Some Yarn says, yeah, flood insurance is another insurance entirely.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. But I don't usually my husband and I are up on the hurricanes, right? Because my father-in-law lives in Florida. So we always watch where they're going. And I have no idea how this one missed, like it was not even on our radar. He talked to his dad like 2 days ago. First off, my husband's weird because I would have been calling my parents like the day after the storm, right? But whatever, he's a guy. Um, his father had freaking water up to like his mailbox. This was his mailbox and this was the water.
right.
Like I don't know how this was not on my radar. I don't know what happened this time. I feel so bad, but
Well, and the general media coverage of it has been pretty weird too. That, we're
mhm,
hearing about people not getting help in, the affected areas. But with Katrina, it was very much, well, a Republican was in office. So it
mhm,
was all of the old things. George Bush hates black people. It's Democrat voters, so he doesn't care. Dick Cheney with a TNT box blew up the levees, and it was Dick Cheney's weather machine that did it, and he
mhm.
controls the weather. It was all very much that kind of a thing, as if, the Republicans in office directed the storm right towards New Orleans, and then they left everyone to die. Um, Sorry, Hank says I promise I didn't blow up the levees.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Amy. I gotta make you an admin again, just so you know.
Right. No,
But yeah, it's just such a different um vibe. And if Trump was in office and he didn't go to the place or he didn't immediately tour or send aid or something, all they would be talking about was what a disaster it was and how horrible of a president he was, just like they did
oh
with
yeah,
Bush. But
yeah.
now
Even if
that
Trump
he's
going in there and fixing everything up fine and doing as much support as humanly possible, it would be the worst disaster for Trump ever. It would be, he's so horrible and he doesn't care and he's awful and he's this and he's that. And, here's a
Hmm.
picture, of the destruction and here's bodies and everything. Now it's a purposeful crickets.
Oh yeah, yeah. And somebody said, useless rhino was in office. True, but also the fact that it was a Republican
Yeah, the
means
media
that they
doesn't matter either.
just you know wouldn't let up on it. But now we've got a Democrat in office, so everybody's going to act like it's just fine and dandy. You know. Um, but then there's a lot of rumors going around, like what happened and why it happened, and I don't think I agree with everything I've heard, but
No,
you
and
know.
there's a lot of, okay, in order for things to be run badly, don't greater conspiracy or anything like that. You just need terrible bureaucrats who don't know what they're doing to begin with. Well, do we have plenty with
Hmm.
awful, misplaced, and terrible priorities? Plenty. And people who will never let a crisis go to waste. That,
Yeah.
whatever disaster, whatever vacuum of power, whatever is going on, that will be used to their advantage. It doesn't matter what it happens to be, that you are ready to make things go your way when things go wrong. So it's
Hmm.
not.
It's, I don't know, the whole thing is disgusting, and all of these people without power and without money or help, or it's like, I mean, natural disasters happen, and people are like, "Oh, it's climate." I'm so fucking tired of climate change. Can I just tell you? So
Yeah.
tired of it because we've only been keeping records for what, 150 years, and if you go back to the early 1900s, the late
Oh
1800s,
yeah.
there are disasters like this. Maybe they're more devastating now because areas are more densely populated, so more people are impacted. But these storms aren't anything new. Everything goes in cycles. And I'm just so fucking tired of the climate change narrative. Us driving a car isn't going to change whether or not these things are happening. If it was truly an issue, then we would be on China and India and all of these other countries with huge populations to also be doing it. Why are we the only country that is expected to change? Sorry.
Not only that, I mean, in an emergency, the things that are helping people is
Hmm.
having gas-powered vehicles,
Hmm.
gas-powered chainsaws, propane
Hmm.
stoves, all of these things that actually works through a crisis. And electric is just not holding up.
Yeah. And I mean, I know I've had some comments about people in electric cars and stuff. And look, I live with a dude who is a very smart dude, right? And he always says, you need to have the right tool for the job. We have an electric car,
Mhm.
but it's a tool for a certain job, which is us running down to the store and running the kids to swimming and running this here and there and whatever. And we like our electric car for the tool that it is. It's
Right.
less expensive for us to run. It's less maintenance because it doesn't have um, all of the parts of an engine that you have to have. It doesn't have oil that you have to change. Like there's really a lot of stuff that's good for it. We also have an SUV for when we need to not be doing those things. And yeah, if you live in an area where you are going to be prone to, you know, disasters and whatever, you should totally have gas powered stuff. Probably an electric car or an electric chainsaw, or, we have a postage stamp size lawn. We have an electric mower because it's a lot more efficient to charge that battery and run our tiny mower around our tiny lawn than
Right.
to get out a big ass gas one. And yeah, they forget where the majority of electricity comes from. It's coal. Yeah, and that's the other thing. We don't think we're saving the planet by using these things. We're just using them because they are more convenient for our particular style of life, and that's the difference. So anyway, sorry, that's my story about electric. because people love to hate on electric, but it's a tool. And if you use it for what it's good for, it's good. Just like any tool. Correct? Correct.
Right. It just reminds me of this interview years ago when Boris Johnson was still mayor of London before he was prime minister. And he was on one of those Top Gear interviews with Jeremy Clarkson, and he was going electric this and electric bus and electric the other thing. And Jeremy was like, so where does the electricity come from? And he's like, the plug.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. You can't be deluded. You can't be like, oh, well, it's electric, so it's better. But electricity has to come from somewhere. I did not mean to get off on this tangent, but all of a sudden, all of our farmer fields have turned into solar farms. And what the hell are they going to do in 10 years when those solar panels break down and everything? Where's all that stuff going to go? Yeah, in theory, using the sun is a fabulous idea, or the big wind turbines, but when they break, they have to like do something with them. Like, like people don't think into the,
There's a lot of toxic materials that goes into making these solar panels and dirty mining techniques. And not only that, but they're hauled all over the world for the different parts and pieces that they need. It's a mess.
Yeah. And you know, I'm not against solar. You know, you throw a panel up on your house and you can run your house. Cool. That's neat. I don't see running New York State on solar farms. It just doesn't make sense. Oh, and I live in one of the cloudiest areas of New York or of the whole country. So, like, I don't know. They say that you can still get good solar, but I don't know. It's just dumb.
Yeah,
right tool for the right job. And I love Jeremy Clarkson. Just FYI. But yeah, no. My point is, and Anne's point was that, yeah, you need certain things. When you're responding to a disaster, you're not going to roll up in your little electric car. No, that's when you're going to the store to get groceries. When you need to, like, haul something or do something, you know.
Yeah, sometimes
you need a different tool. That's all it is.
Yeah, sometimes a cheap tool for the job, it's there, it's handy, you don't think much of it, but when things get serious, you want real stuff. I mean, not the electric car is cheap, but you know.
No, but like I said, it's a tool. We bought it years ago before my husband was a stay-at-home worker because it was inexpensive for him to commute every day. That was our reason for getting it. It saved us a lot of gas money. So the car payment was less than the amount of gas he used to put in his truck. So we figured it was worth it.
Yeah.
But it's a tool, and it's for a certain job, and that's all it is for. And it's not for everybody, and it's not for every job. And this is like one size fits all that they want to do, and climate change and this and that. And what about the lithium rumor?
Oh, that there's a lot of lithium deposits
under Asheville, and that's why they aren't helping them.
Yeah, not
I don't know.
Super with that. I mean, maybe, but also, nah.
It seems like if that was a thing, you would have heard something about it at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, and America is a place that is very rich in various mineral deposits. So it's like, well, they've come. You know, this issue is because people want to take the resources. There's a lot of resources in a lot of places. We are.
Yeah, do we need to ruin people to get those resources? I mean, it's not the only place in our country. I don't know. So anyway, that's what I know. Do you have more about that?
No, that's pretty much it. We could move. Oh, yeah, the blackouts in Texas. Very true. But yeah,
I mean, saying that the electric cars won't work in Alaska. That's what I mean. Good tool for a good job. Anne lives in a place where you have to plug in your battery to make your car go. It's probably not the place you want to have an electric car. Because
heck no.
We don't even drive. This is what I mean. Right tool for the job. We don't drive our electric car in the winter, which is why ours has lasted so long, because it doesn't get salt on it because it's a freaking lithium battery. And I live in New York. There's salt from November until like March, April. So like we don't drive it for that long. It's just anyway, sorry. I apologize. You were talking about something else.
Oh. Well, I was going to move on to the VP debate. Did you see it?
I only saw a little bit of it, but I listened to more of it. Um, what's up with Walls being okay? I want to know who prepped Walls and Kamala for their things because they fucking don't answer questions and they go off on tangents about being weirdos who live in like, oh, I was a middle class child. Oh, I lived in small town Nebraska. What? What does small town Nebraska have to do? Riding your bike until the lights come on have to do with Tiananmen Square and you being a big fat liar? Because that's all Walls can do is lie. His pants are on fire.
It was funny though, just watching them walk out onto the
I
stage was
didn't see it.
okay because Vance, he walked out, he smiled, he was nice, he was cordial, but he was totally calm. It was like seeing a cat who is entirely confident of the kill. He's not going to do it, but he could. And he was very polite, he was nice. There wasn't like, there wasn't any like malicious things from Vance at all. Though there were a couple questions that I think like, well, you could have gone a bit harder there. But Walls, he walked onto the stage and it was like immediately there was fear. Like it was like the train was coming and he was seeing it instantly, like barely.
I mean, it's not nearly the same as you and I, but our first few episodes, you can see that we're scared in the beginning because it's new and we haven't done it. Don't you think that Vance giving interviews every day of the week, all week long, 4 times on Sunday, made him much more confident than the fact that, I mean, Walls hasn't spoken to anybody. I'd be terrified too if I had never gone in front of a camera.
Oh, totally. And it's like, and Vance has done a lot. I mean, he's a lawyer. Getting up and speaking in front of people isn't exactly, something he hasn't done. He's done tech startups. I mean, he was the PR guy and the one he was in the Marines. That was his job, written books, done the book tour thing, all of this. It's very calm. And afterwards, I caught a little bit of the post-debate interview that he did with Sean Hannity. And again, very gentlemanly, very courteous. And Sean Hannity was all like, Walls looked really scared. And he's like, well, I was kind of scared too. This is the biggest platform, I've ever spoken on. So, that's totally like he was, again, super courteous. And there was points in there, for example, when the abortion issue was brought up and Walls talked about Amber, can't think of her last name, but he's like, well, she died because of abortion policies. And Vance is like, I'm very sorry. She should definitely be alive right now. And I'm sorry about that. Okay. Her case, if you don't know, she took chemical abortion tablets and, she had twins. The babies died, but they were not, I guess you would say, ejected from her body.
Yeah. She didn't like miscarry them fully. Or whatever. So
she then got sepsis and died because of that. The chemical abortion pills were legal in her state. This wasn't, some issue of it's like, oh, well, she took the pills illegally and that's why she didn't want to go to a doctor. That's not what happened at all. And also the regulations for said pills were lifted by the Biden-Harris administration. There is supposed to be more of an aftercare, more of a checkup aspect to that. And also people do die from these pills. It's not safe and painless.
Making
ibuprofen. This is a medical procedure. This is a serious medical procedure that people are doing without proper care.
Yeah. And from what I understand, she's supposed to get a follow-up ultrasound to make sure that everything had come out properly, and she didn't do that. And then when she started to get ill, she didn't seek medical attention. So yeah, terrible situation, but also poor choices were made.
Right.
So,
it's horrible. This entire situation is horrible, beginning to end. but also it is then being taken and framed as something it isn't. It's the Republicans' abortion bans killed this woman, and that's
There are
not
no
how.
Republican abortion bans, and also, I Emily said, is she the one who had to get the pills because she was late for her abortion appointment? I don't know that part, but it sounds to me like if you're going to go through with this is a choice you're making, then you need to follow the steps properly because there is risk involved. And if you're not taking care of yourself throughout the situation, then their risk is higher. As anybody would expect. Anytime you have any sort of procedure, they tell you what to look for. Um, it in case, and like there's a list of things like if this starts to happen, you call the doctor. But I hate these stories of people being like, "Oh, she was too scared to get help." I don't. She would not have been prosecuted in her state, so she may have been too scared to get help, but it's not for the reason that she thought she was going to like go to jail. Like it can't have been. That makes no sense.
Yeah, and there's not an ER in the entire country and in many places of the world where if you come in and you're sick and you're this and you're that and I took these pills and that they will not treat you. Of course they're
Mm-hmm.
going to treat you. Even, the people who go on about Catholic hospitals, this or that. A Catholic hospital will also treat you.
Well, and also there are people who miscarry who still need to have a D&C because when you miscarry, everything doesn't come out fully. So the fact that they're making it sound like these are only used in abortions and that that they're not allowed to do them anymore is just super misleading to all. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway, so yeah, so that was the point of that. Vance, he also, when talking about the abortion issue, kind of pivoted a little more to it's like we need to support mothers. We have,
hmm
the Trump Vance platform is that it's the abortion issue is a state's issue, and also we want to promote helping mothers, helping families, helping people feel that they are able to have children.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
both in what you would consider at risk situations or in family situations, all around promote babies.
yeah. And Vance also kind of pivoted that whole question around and brought it back to Walls and his change to the bill he made it in his state where people don't have to provide life-saving measures to the babies anymore. Um, and I heard from 2015 to 2023, 24 babies were saved after botched abortions. We don't know how many babies could have been saved since this bill was passed because now hospitals don't have to report it.
Yeah.
So
And and that was a very telling portion of the debate too, that Vance was like, okay, so quote how your bill was. And Walz couldn't quote the bill. He couldn't.
mhm.
And as the debate went on, it was Waltz. I mean, Waltz kind of started flustered, but he seemed more and more flustered. And there was a point in the debate, well, there was a point where he said that was it housing or was it maternity leave? Walt says was the most important issue of our time. Yeah, so rockets were flying and people are drowning and inflation is through the roof, but the most important question of our time surely is, will I get government benefits for this or that? um, but with the federal housing regulations, they were debating that issue back and forth, and Waltz seems to turn to Vance and ask Vance what the federal regulation is because Waltz didn't know. Waltz kept saying Minnesota this and in Minnesota that. And okay, if you haven't been to Minnesota, maybe you can talk up Minnesota as just the idyllic prairie home companion place, but their taxes suck. Um, Minneapolis is still burned out in the center. We have all of these different issues. I mean, and the road qualities. Get it together, guys. But all of these different issues, and you're like, oh, yeah, Minnesota's great. Minnesota is not great. But if have wacko rose colored glasses, and again, have never been to Minnesota and don't know, then that's the only way that works for you.
Yeah. Um, but how about when the fact checkers were trying to fact check Vance, and then he stood up to them and said, "No, you said you weren't going to fact check, so since you are, I'm going to tell you what was really going on."
Mm.
And they were okay. So I understand the point of the debate is to get to certain topics and stuff, but they turned off their mics after that started, and they were actually getting into like the nitty gritty of the whole like Haitian thing and the app, how people are coming in and these different things, and they didn't let them talk about it, and that's like a disservice to the people, because we should be able to hear them talk about how these things work and why Vance says it's bad and why Walt says it's good. But no, the moderators and that one chick, such a bitch, smirking as she says, "Nobody can hear you. Your mics are off." Like,
But they could
who are you?
hear him because he was talking loud enough.
But who are you? I am not here to see you. Your job is to ask the questions. If they are actually speaking to each other and getting into it, what? I don't care about climate change. I don't need a 10-minute portion of abortion. We know where people stand on this. Like, there are things that fall more in the middle that I want to hear more about. We know that Vance doesn't think anybody should have abortions, and Waltz thinks that they should be able to do it whenever they feel like it. So, like, them debating about that isn't as impressive as them, like, actually getting into a subject and talking about, and Vance, like, quoting law, and then Walls, like, trying to say no, and Vance, well, he was making Walls look bad. That's why they turned off the mics. But
Oh yeah.
that's the stuff I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of, we have a lot of subjects to get to. How about we just do like people asking the questions instead of moderators? How about that? And everybody gets like 2 minutes to talk. Wouldn't that be something? And if it's a really good thing, then they get another minute to like rebuttal. Like, anyway. So.
No, it was crazy.
I keep messing
yeah.
up because I'm getting all fired up now.
Sorry. I really appreciate, though, how Vance did not accept the premise of a lot of the questions, because a lot of the questions, like, for example, January 6th, all the time, but the questions were like, so, Mr. Vance, why are you a terrorist? You have 2 minutes. And he would be like, and he would say, first of all, and kind of reframe it, but then he would go back and try to answer kind of the meat of the question. But you know, it was stuff like that where it's like he did eventually come back around to the point, but he started out by not accepting whatever that question was, and he did that with climate and with other stuff too.
Yeah, but
and it was so funny, the Tiananmen Square bit, where the time that I've actually seen someone liberal be hard on a candidate was, hey, you said you were in Tiananmen Square, or in China or Hong Kong at the time of this, and you weren't. So, and that's the one where it's like, so I came from a small town, Nebraska, and we rode our bikes till the lights came on, which is the stupidest thing to brag about.
Right. But then he goes into this thing about, oh, I'm really proud of being a teacher and the stuff. What? Excuse me. What are you smoking? You and Kamala have obviously been like hotboxing it in the car, and nobody knows what you're talking about. Like, take it down a notch.
And then we brought, and then it was like, yeah, we went on these school trips with these kids to China. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Why?
Now I know he's, a commie bastard, but also, what's wrong with you?
Well, what's wrong with those parents letting that asshole take their kids anywhere? But that's just me. True. I feel like he's super smarmy. Like, he makes me feel uncomfortable. My kids would not be alone with him.
Just that's true. I also have a predisposition to hate teachers, but that's also me. But all of this, and then she had to so it's like, so were you there, Mr. Walls? And he's like, no, I just got it. I'm just a knucklehead. I'm like, what?
I was there in the summer. I misspoke. So did you also misspeak about carrying weapons of war Like, because that was lame, and I've heard a lot of the people that worked with you talk about what a piece of shit you were.
Yeah, and being 100, and even in the middle of this sort of school shooting debate where he contradicted himself a couple different times, but
I'm
he
friends
said
with school shooters. I'm sorry, I took it out of your mouth.
that was amazing. The little interview that he and his wife, which that's another thing. Back to his wife later. But the little when they're like, they were like in a bakery and people were shouting questions of him. Like, you said you were friends with school shooters, and he did not reply. He turned away. I'm like, I'm sorry. That is clearly a that you misspoke. It's pretty
Yeah.
obvious that you did. We get that, but also he is unable to take that criticism. Completely unable to take it.
I mean, if you can say on national TV that you lied about being in Tiananmen Square and call yourself a knucklehead, then you should be able to be like, no, I meant to say I was friends with people who had been affected by school shooters. That's it.
Yeah,
that's a whole answer. It's not anything to be scared of, dude. It's all right.
No. And anyways, but
well,
in that
as a middle-class girl with a middle-class mom who worked hard, and I know small business people, and
as someone who's never been to Montreal, the place where Kamala Harris grew up, and does not mention when she says that she grew up in a middle-class household, I say
she grew up in Montreal.
Yes.
As in not in the US, like Canada?
As in not, yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What about her dad being a communist? We want to talk about? No, we've talked about
Jamaican communists. Both, as Mark Stein has pointed out, both of our, our presidential and vice presidential candidates of color, I guess you would say, which is pretty racist, but both of them are from a Commonwealth background, not an American ethnic.
Isn't that interesting? That's
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, your background's your background, but also it's kind of weird. Really losing my thought.
Sorry.
That's all right. School shooters. So he said that, and he did this emotional thing about his 17-year-old son was present at a community center shooting that happened. And also, that didn't happen either. Vance was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened. That's just awful." And that
because he's classy.
Because he's a classy dude, and is compassionate, and he's never heard of this before. So your first instinct is, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." Didn't happen either.
Really? Yeah. I didn't hear that one. Of all the things that I've heard, that was also fake. Yeah. So, okay, I get lying. Sometimes I get lying about things that don't matter. Like, totally different subject, but I remember my brother in high school being like, sometimes when people will say something to me like, "Oh, did you see that movie?" I'll just be like, "Oh, yeah, it was a good movie," because I don't want to get into a discussion about why I should have gone and seen it. Like I get those kinds of lies, but lying about your kid being involved in a school shooting, that's like public knowledge. Like, it's not a debate about whether or not you've seen that movie and nobody knows but you. Mm-hmm. That's like, oh, I know and you know, and like everybody that was involved in it knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's a lot of different things, and while saying like this is a lie and that's a lie, and Vance again very calm, very composed, and I particularly liked when they always go for the January 6th thing and the election interference and do you swear and this that. Vance said, okay, there's a lot of stuff that happened, but really we're facing a free speech issue. It is a huge problem, and that people should have their voices heard. And with things, and I caught a RFK Jr. speech too that he gave. It was during a Trump rally, and he emphasized free speech as well as being part of sort of the unity platform kind of a thing, saying that he's like, I put a lot of time and money, and my volunteers did, into putting my name on all these ballots. The Republicans, they considered me to be a serious candidate, and they, argued with me issues wise. But none of them ever tried to take me off the ballot. The Democrats did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's crazy stuff.
Okay. So in the comments, I've seen more than once comments about Vance having a beard. Is there an issue with Vance having a beard?
No, there was, I believe it was a Politico article, and they had this picture. It's like, oh, well, Walz's eyes may have been big and staring, but it shows that he was energetic and that he really cared about this. But Vance has a beard, and that means that some women may find him toxic. But the thing is, okay, I think
apparently they are the wrong kind of women. My husband accidentally grew a beard while he was on vacation, and I've never let him shave it off since then. So because he just didn't shave for a few days.
Okay, also, not to be shallow, I'm about to be. Vance looked good. I don't think I've ever seen him look as good as he did on the stage.
He's quite handsome.
He is. I mean, he's just, you look at Vance, you're like, he's just an average guy. He's just a dude. He probably played Magic the Gathering and drunk a bunch of Mountain Dew. And, he was just the nerdy, kind of chubby kid in high school. And they're like, Mr. Vance, you look quite handsome. Might be the entirely background letting your eyes off. Or also the, some people gave him crap for the hot pink tie. And I'm like, no, I think color scheme, he was very nice.
He's got some good eyes too. That's what I notice every time he's on.
He does. Okay, Andy No, the guy who does all of the Antifa posting, and also many of the gay conservative men of Twitter, they were getting pretty spicy about Mr. Vance.
That's funny.
Room. Don't you have like a Grindr group chat to go on to discuss this? Was a little, but no, lots of women going on. And it was funny too. So when the wives came out at the end, so Mrs. Waltz, okay, there is an age difference, of course, but Mrs. Waltz, yes.
Can I just say something before you talk about Mrs. Waltz?
Sure.
I posted the meme of Vance looking at Waltz kind of side eye like Bugs Bunny, and Waltz looks like Elmer Fudd. Like you cannot compete against the handsomeness that is Vance with his evil beard and his blue eyes, and then look at Waltz and be like, oh yeah, he's no, sorry. Anyway, okay, so yes, Mrs. Waltz came. There's an age gap. I don't know what she looks like. I wouldn't know if I fell on her.
Oh, she's a little blonde woman with a hunch. Okay. And she was wearing this two-piece suit that the Queen once wore. And it was like this heavy weave. There was a little sparkle to it fabric. It was kind of like a 70s ottoman. And, she was, but, it was a little sparkly. So it was fancy. She sort of clipped out down her heels. And, she looked very small and shrunken and old. Mrs. Vance is a hottie. And she wore a one-shoulder gown, and she's always like a little shy and she's just a stunning woman. So it's like spiking the football there, JD. She's prettier than any of the moderators. The newsroom is going, crap, she's hot. And it's like, then the guy who was a nerd and who everyone is saying is the best looking guy in politics is walking out with his attractive wife and going home to his 3 little kids.
I heard people mocking Waltz too. I don't know if it was when they first got there or when they left, but he was just standing at his podium all lonely and by himself. And I heard them being like, even like the regular news people are like, oh, he looks like he's not sure what he should be doing. Dude, if you're trying to be the vice president, you should command the room. Yeah. Like, that's my thought. How are you going to go into a room of leaders or whatever you're going to do and just kind of minimum. What was that?
Senators at the bare minimum. It's kind of your job.
But you're going to be in situations where you're going to need to be able to tell people what to do or, direct them. And you can't just be like, oh, wallflower up against the wall, hoping that you blend in. Like, That's
Mhm.
no, no. You're supposed to be a leader. You don't look like one. Just
No.
saying.
No. And instantly walking out on that stage and looking like he crapped himself. That was just the expression on his face the whole time.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, I did. I prefer to listen to things. I don't sometimes like I know
But
that I would get a lot out of seeing them, but sometimes I get too distracted by like facial expressions and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I just need to listen because otherwise I'm too. Yes, I guess this is what I was trying to get at. Possibly become president someday. Act presidential. Yes.
yeah, and
Yes.
also I would say too that with Vance, and this is kind of a problem that DeSantis ran into, and he said a couple times, okay, Vance is completely calm and completely confident. He is not Donald Trump, and he doesn't need to be Donald Trump.
Mm-mm.
He doesn't need to do the orange fake dye, Ron, and he doesn't need to, start walking a certain way to look Trump like. And he doesn't feel like any competition between himself and Bobby Kennedy.
Mhm.
People are saying things like, oh, why wasn't he VP, and, acting almost as if he's going to be vice president. But that's not that's not going to be his role. And it's been pretty clear that if he has a role in the Trump administration, it's going to be limited to things like the FDA and things of that nature. For example, his gun control beliefs are pretty so he wouldn't be in those departments. That wouldn't be him. He would take a smaller role, JD Vance's VP, and never, not an ego issue that you can see anyways, not a flinch, nothing at all. He is entirely confident, and he doesn't need to do these little petty things back and forth. It's like,
Mhm.
no, this is my job. Let's go. You don't need anything more than that, and which is fantastic. And again, Waltz is in the context of the VP debate. Waltz is pretty insecure, and has all of these issues. And just for that amount of Vance walking in, talking reasonably, saying the issues, go easy.
Yeah.
You don't need more than
Um,
that.
somebody said, Bobby, good thing he wasn't picked as VP because he's having a little trouble right now too. There's a little stuff going around about him and a journalist that was following him or his
Which
biographer.
Kennedy among us?
Correct, but also, they don't need the extra nonsense. I mean, if he was the running mate, then he would be right up there with Doug Emhoff, which we don't need right now.
Oh,
But who's talking about that?
again,
Nobody.
nobody. Again, I mean, look at the stuff they string Trump up for, or the Kavanaugh stuff with nothing to back it up.
Mhm.
And if it was any conservative, Vance was in trouble for passing out after playing beer pong, that they tried to make that a big old thing. First dude, Doug Emhoff.
No, he's
uh,
not the first dude. He's the second dude
second
currently.
dude.
Please don't,
Sorry,
you know.
I don't wish that upon us. I
No.
misspoke.
That was a faux pas.
That's faux pas. Anyway, second
No,
dude.
second
Second dude.
dude.
Uh, go ahead.
So the thing about Emhoff is that he's trying really hard to be this like non-toxic masculine guy who like defers to his wife and he's such a good dude and blah blah blah. And there were
Jen
rumblings.
Jen Psaki said that he was not just on the campaign trail, he was redefining masculinity in
Hmm.
this kind of second fiddle role he naturally has to play.
Yeah, and he was totally embracing it. Um, so I'll let you get to the thing you wanted to, but before that came out, there was the nanny that
Oh,
he had the affair with that got pregnant that was his first family's nanny and she went away and nobody really knows what happened. He gave her $80,000 allegedly and sent her on her merry way and no baby materialized, but It could have been an abortion. It could have been a miscarriage. It could have been born. Nobody really knows. But nobody talks about that at all,
Yeah, see,
ever.
it's really empowering women and empowering women's health to, and really empowering the careers, I think, of women to pay them off after having an affair. Real family values, the adults are in charge.
I mean, how much are we getting paid? Okay, sorry. Yeah. But no, that's not toxic masculinity to pay off your babysitter that you had an affair with. That's totally the second fiddle role like we're talking about.
Believe
Absolutely.
all women. That's what I say.
What'd you say?
Believe all women. Women,
Oh,
their
oh,
time.
except when they go against your political beliefs, and then they should never, ever, ever be believed.
Or except if you're at a party and you're drunk and you don't like who your girlfriend's been talking to, then you can totally smack them around and
Oh,
still
okay.
be a
Is that how
respectful.
it goes?
Actually, that's the entire reason to be a male feminist, is what I believe.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's okay, just as long as you say you really support women, you can hit your girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's really great.
And in case you missed the sarcasm, the news story is that Doug Emhoff smacked one of his girlfriends across her face, and
As reported by the Daily
yeah,
Mail.
yeah,
I guess we should say allegedly here, but as reported by the Daily Mail.
yes. But it's just interesting that nobody's talking about that. Um, yeah,
No,
but
he's just
that's the kind of
the most
masculinity we
masculine.
want now.
Yeah, the just the strongest, the butchest dude with the sour milk face. That it's just, I'm my heart's a flutter just thinking about Mr. Doug.
Okay, so I don't care for him, obviously. But what's up with Kamala and Walls acting like their spouses are like acquaintances, like shaking their hands and shit? Like what is up with that? Is that the new masculinity?
Yeah, I think it really shows equality between the genders if you like don't make eye contact.
I mean, I have a feeling that there is a beard involved with someone there, but not the kind that Vance has. Um,
Not one of those
I've never
toxic
seen
masculine beings.
I've never seen a man.
Not even the perpetual 5 o'clock shadow. The Miami Vice of beards. Not even one of those.
Yeah, no, no. But anyway, so yeah, all this stuff is going on, and if this was associated with Trump or Vance, it would be everywhere,
Oh yeah.
everywhere, everywhere. Nobody could stop talking about it. But have we heard about it? Like you and I have heard about it, but have people that don't necessarily listen to all the people we do heard about it?
I saw this thing that's like, why are we having a VP debate? We should have a potential first spouses debate, between Doug smacks his girlfriend, Emhoff, and Melania Trump, who's just like, no, I will not disavow doing nude photos. Thank you.
I don't know, man. It's
I'm not even saying she should. Thing. She is pro-abortion, though. I'm against that, but she's not making
oh, she
policy
is.
decisions.
I didn't know
She
that.
is. She is pro-abortion, but I mean, Trump Vance policy, it goes to the states, the people choose.
Mhm.
Whatever, she's the first lady. Or potential. Was the first
Um,
lady.
but yeah, no, this whole I guess I'm just really tired of the media bias and the narrative that they're pushing and the whole fact that they don't report anything equally. Um, I wouldn't care if they talk shit about Trump if they talk shit about everybody. Like, if we're going to constantly have negative stories about him, then let's have negative stories about all the people. Let's talk about Kamala cackling like a hyena and how out of touch she is and cringy, and like
Oh,
there's so much.
how about replacing her cackle with the hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, there's a movie I like. I don't remember what it's called, but the chick throat punches the guy in it, and I'll after I've seen that, all I want to do is throat punch some people, and I know that that's not acceptable, but I think some people just need it. I don't know.
You heard it here, folks. Violence is the answer.
Violence is not the answer, but look, we're getting too soft. We need to, if we're gonna be discerning, then we need to hold everybody to the same standard. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of bullshit, and y'all suck. Not you guys, the viewers. I'm talking about the general y'all. Not. But I don't know. I'm just so tired of this fake, manufactured. Abortion is the biggest issue that has ever been. Let's talk about groceries, please. All right. Let me tell you about how much I pay for groceries to feed 4 people, because it's a lot. And it's about twice as much as what it used to be. And that's not cool. And if I was getting better quality, if I was getting more for my money, I wouldn't be complaining. But there's been a ton of shrinkflation. Quality of everything has gone down, and we're just supposed to be like thrilled about it. Like, let's talk about real stuff. I'm sick of talking about climate change, and I'm sick of talking about, oh, hey, what about the port being shut down? What about that? Like, why isn't that a concern to people? You know, we get almost all of our medications from overseas, and now the port's been shut down, and what are we going to do? Like, there are really true issues that are going on that are going to affect people up there with the hurricane, up there with people not being able to, anyway. Sorry, I could keep going. It's just, I don't know. There's so much stuff that's important, and they spend a lot of time making you look the other way. And I know most of us are wise to it, but a lot of people aren't, and it's upsetting. And
It is.
I don't know. So anyway, what else,
Anyways,
Anne?
that's an hour.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, it's almost 9 o'clock. I have to put the kids to bed. So let's talk about the price of groceries and gas and every bill going up, the actual important stuff. Yeah. That was just settled, the port strike. Good. I hadn't heard that yet,
Oh
but
yeah, they're
even
giving
so,
more wages.
they wanted 70% more wages though. Like, also people should get money, but that's ridiculous.
Oh, it's stupid.
And
No,
but now,
there comes a time in these days where we have to decide which we hate more, unions or robots. Let me tell you, unions are pretty miserable.
yeah, I'm scared of AI though. My husband has always said that our downfall is going to be the robots, and I'm starting to believe him. So I don't know. At least unions are people.
They are,
He
but
he
like,
listens to a lot of Fear Factory, and they talk about the rise of the machines a lot. So I don't know. Just saying. um, but no, like, there are so many issues that are truly affecting people, and during the debate, they were like, "Oh, abortion is a huge thing," and yeah, it is to an extent. But there are so many things that you can do, and this is the problem, because they won't just take the compromise. Like, if we said, okay, life of the mother, rape, incest, that kind of stuff, yeah, go have an abortion, but everything else is none or 6 weeks, or they wouldn't accept it because they want to be able to do whatever the fuck they want to. And we need to, I don't know. We just need to, for most people, that's not an issue. Do you know? I don't remember what I was watching. I was watching something, and they just said that there are more sexually transmitted diseases now because kids are not using condoms because they think it's a fetish. And
Kids
it's like we
know.
need to educate people. We need to educate them because obviously the reason abortion is such a big issue is because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Obviously, if they think that that's a kink.
Don't manage to get pregnant. I don't understand.
Oh my god. So anyway, so apparently I could go off on a rant on several different subjects, and Anne's trying to get us off. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go put my kids to bed. I will do more research and let you know about some of these things that I have ranted about. And yeah, sorry, I was just reading a comment that caught my attention. So, moral of the story is vote. Make sure your friends are registered to vote. Make sure that, like Bongino keeps saying, go to the polls, bring 10 people with you. And I'm like, how am I going to find 10 people? I have a friend that I talk politics with like once a week. They are not registered to vote. So make sure that the people you know who, I mean, this dude's passionate about this stuff, but I don't know why he's not registered. So I'm going to go find out. I'm going to find out if I can still help him get registered in New York, because it's not going to change if we're complacent. It's not going to change if all we do is complain. Execute. That's what Bongino says. Execute. Make sure you go out to vote. Make sure you take 10 people with you. Make sure that you aren't just talking. Vote early and vote often. Vote early. Unfortunately, we're not the party that votes often, so we're going to have to just hope that there's more of us than them. But thanks, friends. Make sure you check out Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. You can use the code METALLARK20 PIK for 20% off your order. Comment on this video.
And she does have lovely Halloween themed yarns, which
Yep.
comment on this video to enter the giveaway for this one. But I forget the name of it. I believe Ghoul was in the title, but she has this lovely gray one that has all these speckles in it and Halloween themes. It's very pretty.
I think I have some on my shelf. I'll pull it up for the next episode. It's way up at the top and I can't get it while we're live. So, but guys, thanks for listening to us go off on tangents. We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming out on a Friday night, and we will see you on Tuesday for Live from the Knitting Wars. Thanks. It's been lots of fun. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.